beauties, welcome back to my channel. So first of all, I want to mention that we have now officially reached 200k, and I just cannot believe it. I am so excited. I just want to say thank you so much to each and every one of you that has subscribed to my channel. It means the world to me. And also I want to say thank you so much to each and every one of you that was so patient and was so kind enough to send me your warm wishes and everything while I was in my recovery, because I was MIA for like about a week or two on YouTube because I was really sick, and I still have an infection, but I'm really better now enough to like stay here and film for you guys. But I'm really excited to be back more than anything. So what I thought of doing was doing a makeup tutorial for an everyday school makeup. This is the makeup that I would wear every single day. I did change up a few different things because obviously I back then did not know anything about makeup as I know now, but I give you guys tips along the way while I show you guys the tutorial and what the mistakes that I would do back then to help you guys not make them. I know that it may be a lot for some of you, but honestly everything's optional. You don't have to do a wing liner, you don't have to add blush, you don't have to use foundation, you can use a BB cream, things like that. So everything is optional, but I just wanted to show you guys what my everyday school makeup was like and how I would change it to today's makeup. So yeah, so if you guys want to know how to get this makeup look, then just keep on watching. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with our face first. So I'm gonna go ahead and use a primer because it's important, so that way your makeup stays longer, and on top of that it looks smooth. So you want your skin looking kind of perfect. So for that I'm gonna be using the L'Oreal Miracle Blur. Now for the foundation, I highly recommend this one from L'Oreal. I have talked about it a lot of times here on my channel, and I've already mentioned why. Basically, it lasts 24 hours on your skin. If you have oily skin like me, well, an oily T-zone, it's gonna really help control that. It lasts about 6 hours with me without having to break any oiliness through my T-zone or anything. So highly recommend it for that. Even if you don't have oily skin, this is gonna be a great foundation. It's just gonna look so flawless on you. Back then I used to use my foundation, like the way I would apply it was with my fingers. But of course, now that I know more, I'm gonna be, giving you some tips. So I highly recommend you guys invest in one of these sponges. This is the Real Technique sponge. It's only $6 and you can get it at Ulta. It's just gonna make your skin look so much better and more radiant. So highly recommend that you guys use a sponge. Don't go into a brushes because, let's get real, nobody really has time to wash those brushes. Now moving on, we're gonna go ahead and add concealer. Now, back then I didn't need concealer. I would get my 8 hours of sleep, but now obviously I grew up and I hardly get any sleep, and I have lots of under eye circles. But if you have under eye circles, some people just have it naturally because of genetics, but just in case you do have under eye circles, I highly recommend this concealer. Now this one is from NYX. This is the HD concealer. It reminds me so much of the MAC Pro Longwear concealer, so highly recommend this one. I'm going to be using the shade CW04, which is beige. You can stop right there, but while I'm at it, I could just go easily and highlight the highest points of my face with this, since I'm already there, and I could just usually, with a sponge kind of like blend it out. This is totally optional. You do not have to do this, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do it since I'm already here and I'm gonna be blending anyway. So I'm just gonna apply a little bit on my chin and down the bridge of my nose and a little on the Cupid's bow. Next, I'm going to go ahead and set my whole concealer and foundation at the same time. So I'm going to be using the Rimmel Stay Matte Pressed Powder. This is in the color Silky Beige. Now this powder, I've been using it for many years. I mean, many years. And basically what I'm just going to go ahead and do is grab a stippling brush and kind of lightly just set my whole foundation and concealer with this. The reason I recommend a stippling brush is because I feel like you're not going to be caked up. Sometimes we girls, when we're starting out, we kind of tend to have a heavy hand and we could really cake it up. So in order to prevent that, we could use a stippling brush and just kind of like loosely, apply this powder all over your face, and that's gonna prevent from you having a cake face. Now moving on to our brows. Now we tend to have made the brows such an important factor of our face now, because back then brows were not important. Let me tell you that. Like, brows could be thin as a chola line and nobody cared. Nobody was like, oh my god, those brows. No, back then it wasn't a big deal, but now I know that it is a big deal and everybody wants to have their brows on fleek. So for that, I'm gonna go ahead and take this NYX micro brow pencil I forgot what it was called, but this is in the color Taupe. I'm basically just gonna go ahead and fill in my brows lightly with this. You don't want to go all overboard. You kind of want them still looking as natural as possible. Once you're done with your brows, we're gonna move on to the eyes. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start out with a primer. It's important that you use a primer when using eyeshadows. If you're not gonna use eyeshadows, then you could completely skip this step, but if you're gonna be using eyeshadows, I highly recommend use a primer. That way your eyeshadow stays in place, it doesn't crease up or anything crazy like that. So I'm gonna be using this one by NYX. It's called the HD eyeshadow base. For the eyeshadows, I'm gonna be using only 2 eyeshadows. All you need is something for your crease and also something for your eyelid. Back then I used to use just 2 eyeshadows, but I would do the mistake of using a really light pink and a baby blue eyeshadow and put them side by side, but that's not the case. We're not trying to look like clowns here. So the first eyeshadow we're gonna be using is for our crease. Now I like to call this the transition color because whenever you're gonna be adding more extra eyeshadows, it helps a lot when you wanna like blend your eyeshadows, but this time we're not gonna be using it for that. This is just gonna be the sole purpose, just to give your eye more definition and just make your crease more defined. So for that, I'm gonna go ahead and take this palette from L'Oreal. This is a new palette, the version number 1. So I'm first gonna take this eyeshadow right here. It's a very light eyeshadow. You don't wanna take it up crazy or anything like that. It's just a very light brown eyeshadow that's kind of warm. And if you're a cool tone person, you want to use something that's more on the cool side. But I'm gonna go ahead and just apply this on my crease and make sure that you just blend it out. Just keep doing windshield wiper motions and you're good to go. For your lid color, you could definitely have fun with this because you could use a really like bronzy eyeshadow, a gold one, a pink one. I mean, you could definitely have fun with this. But I'm just gonna keep it neutral and just use this one right here and apply this all over my entire lid. The next step you want to do is grab your blending brush again and just make sure that the 2 eyeshadows are well blended out. After this, you could go ahead and just apply loads of mascara, but I used to do a wing liner back then. I started using a wing liner maybe when I was 14 years old, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the wing liner because I honestly would use this every single day. For that, I'm gonna be using the Maybelline Gel Studio, yeah. And then just to smooth out the lines and everything, I'm gonna go ahead and take this liquid eyeliner from NYX. After that, we're gonna go ahead and just curl our lashes like the heck out of them. I know some people are really scared about this, but you don't have to. You could just go ahead and just use mascara, but I'm okay with this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and curl my lashes. That way they kind of look more longer because obviously I barely have any. And the mascara I'm going to be using today is this one from L'Oreal. This is the Telescopic Carbon Black Mascara. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take this black eyeliner from L'Oreal, and I'm just going to go ahead and apply this on my tightline and also my waterline. And then of course you want to go ahead and apply a few coats of mascara to your bottom lashes. While we let the mascara dry, because then after that what I would always do is then curl my lashes again. That way they kind of like make them longer. But we're gonna move on to our face now. Now I would completely skip bronzer and everything and highlighter because back then I didn't used to do that. So what I would just recommend is use a blush. Then for that I'm gonna recommend the Milani Luminoso. This is an absolute beautiful blush that could go with every skin tone, and on top of that it has some kind of shimmer, so it kind of makes your skin look kind of like as if you applied a highlighter but you really didn't. It's just the blush. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this and apply this on the apples of my cheeks. So I'm gonna go ahead and curl them again. Last thing we need to do is finish off our lips. Now back then I used to use the really chunky lippies from Revlon, but now I found these that I really love, and they really keep your lips moisturized and kind of like gives it a kind of like a glossy finish to it. These are the ones from Circa. This is the lip crayon in the color MURE, which is number 2. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this all over my lips. So after you're done with your lips, we are all done with this tutorial. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up. Also let me know in the comment section if you guys would like to see a step up of this for like college students or something. Let me know in the comment section. I would be more than happy to do that for you guys. But with that, my loves, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye! Mwah.
So if you want something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here I am, 'cause I'm